media will join us today. Allow me to extend a warm welcome and mabuhay to our Vietnamese partners from THACO and the executive from BJM Mercantile. We'd also like to introduce to you the panel of our guests from the Q&A session who will see us today. Mr. Doan Datni, Vice President of THACO, Auto, and Ms. Delani Lintan, Vice President of BJM Mercantile. We invite our media friends to introduce themselves and stating their names and affiliation and asking a questions. Who wants to start the questions?
Good morning, congratulations on your venture. My name is Sujin Kim from Billionaire News Channel. For my first question, is there a target number of units or market share you're aiming to reach in the commercial vehicle space in the next 3 years?
For the Philippine market, because the cooperation is still fairly new, so and our market is actually quite competitive as it is right now. So we're starting off very conservative. I'm not going to mention any numbers first because I don't want to preempt what we are doing. But what I can share is THACO Auto's market shares in Vietnam. So in Vietnam, actually, for the bus sector, their market share for 2024 was 58%, and then for 2025, their market share is 73%. On the truck side for 2024, their market share is 28%, and for 2025, it's 33%. So I think you based on those numbers, you can really see how professional and how they take care of the market. So we are hoping that we will be able to reach a very good number in the next 3 years. I don't want to preempt anything first.
And to clarify, does the partnership involve EVs, or do you plan to go into that space?
At this point in time, there have been no talks yet for EVs, but the cooperation between BJM Mercantile and THACO Auto is both for trucks and buses.
Sorry, may isa pa. And did any of the trade conflicts accelerate the need to diversify away from traditional auto suppliers?
Not really. I think THACO is still considered to be a traditional auto supplier. They still primarily they still offer diesel vehicles or ICE vehicles as we call it. But I don't think that the trade conflict has anything to do with it. I think it is more of our preference in terms of who we want to partner with, and we just want to make sure that we actually are partnering with a very reliable company as well.
Hey, good morning. Fort Manaan from Z Wheels and Carmody. So congratulations again. What kind of investments does THACO Auto allotted for the Philippine market now that BG Mercantile is now helping them with their presence here in the Philippines?
In terms of investments, basically it's the product specification. We want to make sure that we supply the correct specification for our local market. I mean, our local market is quite unique in the sense that comfort and aesthetics actually take the biggest share of what clients choose, right? I mean, as a passenger, you probably will be riding, you would choose a nice bus over one of those ordinary buses. So I think it's more of a product specification in terms of investment, because the units actually will arrive completely built. So there is no investment in terms of assembly, although BJ Mercantile has an assembly plant for other brands, and I'm sure you're very aware of that. That's on the bus side. So they have to make sure that they develop the correct product for our market. That's their investment. For the truck side, There are certain truck models already that they have been developing. And what we will do is we will just push that into the market. So again, in terms of investment, they will again, because of the free trade agreement between the Philippines and Vietnam, there is no need to actually bring the units in completely knocked down, so we can bring them in as completely built already.
Another question, what any particular models that THACO Auto is planning to bring here in the Philippines? How many units are there? And are you confident that this would meet the demands of your market?
I am very confident that the product is far superior compared to what is available in the market in that space. No, I stress that word, in that space, because our market is actually segregated into several different levels. The Europeans being the ones up there considered to be premium. So what to bring in, basically, for the bus side, we are looking at 8.5 meters, 11 meters, 12 meters, and city buses. Those are the initial ones that we are looking at. In terms of the 12 meters actually have different seating capacities. So some are 2x1, some are 2x2. So depending on what we feel that is the need of the client is what, because normally clients have a mix anyway of their requirement. They would be requiring us to supply a portion of it 2x2, a portion of it 2x1. So it all depends on what they would require. In terms of number of units, at this point, we are looking at the correct number that will be able to at least initially supply to their refleeting requirements. Okay, it's already close to, we are running on the second half of the year already, so we probably will be talking to them for their refleeting requirements for 2026 already, because normally refleeting happens the beginning of the year. So we are still in constant talks with our clients, and no firm number of units yet. So I cannot tell you, the exact number at this point.
For THACO Auto, so what made you decide to, venture in the Philippine market?
You answered that.
We understand that now the Philippine government want to do the modernization of the transportation, public transportation, and we think that the Philippine market is very potential market, and we believe that our product and our services, we can meet all the requirement of the Philippine market, and we are very confident when we cooperate with BJM Mercantile to do business, and we want to contribute our product to the Philippine market.
Good afternoon. I'm Justine Tabile from Business World. From what I understand, BJ Mercantile's automotive portfolio is mostly composed of trucks and buses. How is the market right now for trucks and buses? And can you please enumerate the car brands under the company's portfolio? Thank you.
How is the market? It changes by the day. I would say that compared to pre-pandemic, the market right now is still fairly slow. Even after, it is, this year, 2025 is probably the third full year that we have come out of the pandemic. On the truck side, if we're talking about the logistics side, meaning the smaller trucks, those are moving, okay? But if we talk about the bigger trucks, those are a little bit still on the slow side. on the bus side, actually, I'm very happy that the buses have been moving quite well. Initially, during the pandemic, obviously the bus operators, all of the bus operators were hit, right? And that's the whole of 2020, 21, and 22. So they were only able to completely recover, I would say, or completely be operational, I would say, 2023. So, they're very active right now in terms of refleeting. I mean, obviously, there were a lot of buses that were, standing still, not being used during the pandemic. So, the refleeting things that they're doing is still in connection to that. Operators here, they have hundreds of units, and I don't think they'll be able to do the refleeting all in one go. So I'm very happy with that aspect. So that's where our market is. Current brands that we have in our portfolio, we started out with Scania in 2014, which is our premium brand, trucks and buses as well. And then we partnered with AJ Power for gensets a couple of years, I would say about 3 years after. And then we have Fuso as well on the truck side. We have Ashok Leyland, an Indian brand, on also the truck and bus side. And finally with THACO Auto also on the truck and bus side. So we pretty much kind of covered the market already from in terms of the different price points that we have.
Sorry, just to follow up, you mentioned that it's still a bit slow. What are you seeing as growth drivers for the coming years?
I'm not supposed to say this, but I think the political policies still have to be a little bit firmer. I would say implementation of certain policies have to be firm. So I think that's probably what will drive confidence also with our business people.
Sorry, for THACO, are there any plans to put up a manufacturing plant in the Philippines?
No, we have no any plan to set up the manufacturing plant in Philippines.
Can I just add on to that? I think because I mentioned earlier the free trade agreement between the Philippines and Vietnam, I don't think that there is a need to set up a manufacturing plant in the Philippines. The manufacturing plant that they have in Vietnam is very, very extensive, and we feel that them concentrating all of their research and development in that manufacturing plant is good enough. Vietnam is not very far from the Philippines, so I think in terms of logistics, it's still very workable.
Good afternoon. My name is Luella Desiderio. I'm from Philippine Star. For THACO Auto, there was a mention a while ago that one of the reasons why you decided to venture into the Philippine market is because you have heard of the government's modernization program for the transport sector. Now I'm curious, because most of the vehicles, based on what was mentioned, are still ICE vehicles. Is there a study to bring in some electric powered buses or trucks in the near future?
Can I answer that on behalf of THACO Auto? The electric vehicle is still being researched right now at least for THACO. In terms of shifting to electric, we feel that we still have to start with the infrastructure first in terms of charging, because without the infrastructure, I think it is quite difficult for the operators to shift to electric, even as much as they want to. And the infrastructure actually takes quite some time. And the infrastructure itself, building the charging stations and all of these things, takes a lot of investment. So we need somebody to actually go in. Unlike for passenger cars, we actually have started seeing, and the mandate of the government is very clear when it comes to passenger cars, where all of the malls should have electric chargers and things like that. But for commercial vehicles, that's very difficult. Their charger, their battery capacity is much larger. Therefore, they would need a much bigger charging station. So, and that investment, the electrical requirements, etc., have to be done first before the full move to commercial EV vehicles.
And then last one from me. A while ago, there was a question about growth prospects or growth outlook among the segments where you operate in. Because even if it's truck and buses, you have the heavy-duty trucks, the light-duty trucks. Which segment do you see the most growth potential? Thanks.
On the truck segment, I think the light and medium-duty trucks will still dominate that segment. The numbers will speak for itself. Logistics, moving from point A to point B, moving goods, moving food, that still is the primary mode of transportation. On the bus segment, I feel that the coaches or the provincial buses, as we call it here, will still be the fastest growth.
Any more questions from friends from our media? Last two questions.
Good morning, I'm Noblin Campo from Tuner. With regards to light vehicles, how much units are gonna be the target for this year? And with regards to the provincial buses, will you be offering also sleeper buses, just like the ones that you have released?
We will be offering sleeper buses as the need arises, but yes, we are talking to a client already, so we are trying to develop something for sleeper. In terms of the light duty, I think when we look at the market, if we look at just the FB body alone, okay, which is the lightest duty among the trucks, that market segment I think is 13,000 a month. 13,000 a month. So, I'm not very ambitious, right? So, but even if I just kind of pinch a few percent from the 13,000, I think I'll be happy.
So at least 2,000 months.
Don't put numbers in my mouth. But we are trying our best to break into that segment as well. We will be coming up. I think Peachy later on and Luigi will be sharing some information with you later on once all of the information is ready.
Any last questions? Okay, thank you very much to our friends from the media who joined us today for the celebration of partnership of future Mercantile and THACO. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Again, I would like to thank everybody from the media here. A lot of you have been supporting us from the very beginning. A lot of very familiar faces. Thank you very much for your continued support, and hopefully, as we grow, as we expand and bring in more brands, hopefully you'll still be here to support us. Thank you again.
All right, so we will invite you now for lunch.